So your boy is back online doing his gaming thing, finally.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I'm here to do a review for the game called Control.
Nice.
There's going to be a lot of ranting.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Let me explain.
As much as I enjoyed the game and the concept, there are some very, 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 very annoying things in the game. Like number one off the bat, the mapping system really sucks. I don't know why games do this a lot when it comes to having a clear map and navigation. So the mapping system sucks. The navigation sucks. But let me see if I can throw in some of the good bits in the beginning first before I go into my deep rant. Because I also want to do a trailer reaction for the sequel of this game. And I don't know how many years it's been between the original or the first one and the sequel that's coming out soon.
Is that your best?
And because I really spent time with the first game and I streamed it as well, I'm beginning to worry about the second game and hoping they would have changed a lot of things that were wrong with the first game. I don't know how close they were or are with the audience, with the fan base of the game. And hopefully they've listened to everyone and their complaints and seen the, the repetitive, not repetitive, when you have a bunch of people, like if you take a survey for this game, you would see a constant complaint. You see very, constant points mentioned by different people who have played the game. The game is beautiful.
That's right.
The concept is excellent. If I was to suggest this game to someone, I would say if you love sci-fi stuff, X-Files, Inception, the morphing gun is awesome. If you love things like telekinesis, not telepathy. Well, both actually, telepathy, but the main powers you use is telekinesis. You can put up a shield with different, debris around you. You have a gun that shapeshifts, just like, I almost said just like Dante, but no, Dante's gun doesn't shapeshift, does it? You have one gun that can shapeshift into different constructs. So you have a pistol mode, for example, then you have a machine gun mode, but it's still what you don't hold it with two hands. Then you have like a rocket launcher mode. Then you have two other modes that I don't really like. So I think it's like five constructs. Then you have one that if you hold the trigger button down, it charges up for a while and fires like a precise laser thing. All that aspect of the game is pretty cool. What I don't like about it is you have an awesome concept and you have awesome fun ways to maneuver your character and the tools and gadgets you've given the main character. What really lets this game down for me is the navigation and the mapping system. So there's no compass, there's no mini map in the corner of the screen to let you know where you're supposed to be headed, or there's no little like a beacon. Because I'm saying these things because she talks to a thing inside her head, or to an entity, or to a person I don't really know. And the story for me, I don't know if this is now my ADHD, neurodivergent mind, or autism mind, or there's something wrong with the game fundamentally when it comes to the story. It felt bloated.
Damn.
At the start, I was cool with it because she was, it's like you're playing a mystery game that unravels itself, or the mystery unfolds and you get to know what you're doing and why you're doing it. But I still felt confused at some points. Now, like I said, the premise is beautiful. It's just certain aspects of the execution. The mapping, navigation, and the story felt like it took too long to conclude for me. I'm not saying in general, maybe it's because a lot of people love the game. Oh my god. Didn't even waste time. Oh, you. That, my friend, is what I call an ambush, bitch. Yeah, sit your asses over there. That's what we call an ambush, bandejo. And one of my YouTube subscribers was like, dude, you should play this game. And I've seen it many times. Different YouTubers and people reviewing the game, but I never felt the urge to play it. Once I found out what it was about, I was like, okay, this seems intriguing. It took McRamble to be like, yo, dude, check it out. And I didn't really check it out after McRamble said it, but I already had it on my list in the back of my mind. So when I found out it was free on PSN, then I picked it up. So this is also the reason why I was thinking to myself, if I had bought this game full cash, not even secondhand, full cash on release, and let's say I bought it the same day on release, everyone else had bought the game, I would have been bored easily, real quick. So aside from the cool things to do with the character, with the gun, with the gadgets and tools, all that is nice and it's lovely. It is absolutely lovely. And as I was playing this game, I was like, I'm surprised no studio has picked this up to make a movie or TV series about it, because they recently announced God of War live action TV series, not even a movie or trilogy, but TV series. How are they going to pull that off? I don't know. I personally don't want a live action TV series God of War.
But why?
If you were to say you were doing a feature-length animated TV series or feature-length animated trilogy of God of War, I'd more prefer that, because then you have, you know, free range to do anything and everything that even the game couldn't do. You get to explore more things you couldn't do in the game because of budgets or limited time, or you know, they got to rush things, or there are certain combos they couldn't even implement into the game because of limited technology. So I feel the animation would work well for IPs like God of War. So with this game, there's certain aspects of the game and the story, I was like, this would make such an awesome movie. Like if Christopher Nolan was to direct this movie, dude, it would smack nicely. Woo! Imagine the visuals of Dune and the intelligence, and I love the way Nolan thinks and writes the stories. Imagine combining the visuals and that mindset together. This thing would be epic. It would be an epic saga if they really sat. That's why I'm like, you guys want to do God of War, you know, pause that, go on this one, make this movie or make a TV show. In fact, this would go well for either TV or movie, because it's got that X-Files, Outer Limits, and what's the other one? It's Outer Limits and Twilight Zone feel to it. So again, the premise, excellent. It's just the execution, really, the navigation pissed me off, man. And I don't understand why they didn't really take time to flesh out their mapping system. Like in some games, once you've entered a room, on the map, it lets you know that this room you've entered. You know, I'm trying to see, how can I explain it?
A few moments later.
Okay, before you enter a room, it will have like one color. It lets you know this is an unexplored area. Even if you have a question mark and whatnot, you can have two symbols. There'll be a symbol to let you know, question mark, this place has not been explored yet. Plus, there'll be a particular color to that location. So that's to signify to the gamer, this color signifies unexplored or hidden areas. And then when you enter the room or enter that location, it changes to a color that matches the previous spaces you've been in. So that way, when you're retreading your steps backwards, you don't get confused as to what room to enter. This game had me entering rooms I've already entered before, because even though they had like signboards saying a scientist room, toilet, kitchen, living room, garden. I mean, garden is obvious, but when you have like dude, most people play games by visual navigation. No one stops to read, you know, little direction thing on the, and I get it because of the office building it's set in, but at the same time, your navigation should at least be easy enough that if you forget to read the little signpost or whatever to let you know this arrow is pointing to the janitor's office, and the arrow is just saying janitor's office here. But by the time you go left, you're downstairs, up the stairs, through this door, there's two doors, is that right door? The mapping system really sucks, and it lets this game down for me. Your mileage may vary. Because I know some people love this game. I'm not saying I don't love this game. I'm just saying that part of the game really sours the experience for me, because that's the one thing you should get off the ground. Aside from the mechanics of the character, the weapons, how you jump, how you move, how you go from side to side, all those maneuvers, excellently done. It even rivals the motion or the movement of what's her name, Celine Dion from Returnal.
What? You serious?
Yeah, kitty.
Ooh-wee.
Nice. God, that was clean. Best believe I'm saving that video right now.
And I love that game. I really love that game. But that also has limits when it comes to the character mobility. But this game Control rivals Returnal hard, because not only can she move left to right or dash left to right, she can dash backwards, forwards. She can also jump and then levitate. That's an ability you unlock. So to combine all these intricate aspects or abilities in one game is a beautiful feat. Normally some games will be like, you know what, instead of having to implement all these epic things, let's just throw one or two things. She can shoot and she can dash left and right, and that's it. But not only can she jump, levitate, shoot, dash left and right, back and forth, and she can put up a shield, she can also use a force power. It's almost like a Jedi, but awesome.
What does that have to do with it?
No, he's got a point.
And this is something that I'm yet to see in the current Jedi game. The only best Jedi game that comes to mind that my brother and I really, really love is Star Wars Force Unleashed. I think that's what it's called.
Yes.
That game, oh my, this is one thing that really gets on my nerves with companies or studios or game developers. You already have a pre-existing game that your fan base of Star Wars really, really, really deeply loves and appreciates. Just look at what worked, what didn't work, build off what worked, and then fix what didn't work in your game. I'm not saying copy and paste it. Just take inspiration from what worked and then implement the thing that you see they didn't do. And then what they did that didn't work, fix or improve in your game.
Hold on.
So to go back to this game, when you're moving around in your world and it's jarring to get from point A to B, it puts gamers like myself off. Thankfully, in this day and age, a lot of developers are being very, very mindful of their accessibility options. So for visually impaired people and all different kinds of disabilities that we all have, whether it's color blindness or whatever it is, I appreciate game developers that take time to fine-tune their game to make sure it's accessible to almost anyone and everyone. So if you don't like an aspect of your controls, like even just custom buttons to say, no, I want the attack button to be here instead of that. That's just a basic simple thing that some games don't even implement. Like something, for example, like New Game Plus. Some games struggle to just have that as a default. I genuinely sometimes, as much as I love a game, I'll literally Google the game. Does this game have New Game Plus? No, I'm good. Either they release it on DLC, then I buy it. I mean, DLC, not DLC. They release it as a patch and I buy the game, or I'm not picking it up. I love games that welcome you to say, enjoy the world, delve into the story, delve into the mechanics, play the game your way. We encourage you to play the game your way. And when you're done, if you love the world that much because of the way we've built it, you can play through it again. And then each time you do a New Game Plus mode, the villains get tougher. It becomes a little mini challenge where you got 5 guys in a room. Now you're in New Game Plus, you're going to get 15 guys in a room. Like this game, once you enter a room and some bad guys teleport into the room, once it's like it cycles every, I don't know, 15-20 minutes. And because the world is the maps are so huge, the rooms are, when I say huge, you're practically going into empty rooms most of the times, and you're just exploring. It's like little mini personal side quests. Let me find this little tool or find this little thing to upgrade my weapon and see what mods I can use, which is cool. But when there aren't many enemies to keep you on your toes, and for people who might find that annoying after a while, again, include that into your accessibility option.
Let me explain.
You hit pause, and then you can turn off enemy spawns once you're done clearing out a room. Because some people don't like that, and I also don't like that when it comes to like zombie movies. I mean, zombie games. That thing is too much hypertension, too much anxiety. I've already killed all the zombies in that room. When I leave and come back and they spawn again, it's jarring. When it comes to Devil May Cry, for example, God of War, it's fun. You see the difference. Zombie games like Resident Evil and whatnot, for example, those games are scary.
You don't understand.
But hack and slasher games or combat-based games, God of War, Devil May Cry, Ninja Gaiden Sigma, Tenchu or Sekiro, or even Black Myth Wukong, those games, I feel, as a default basis, once you're done clearing out a space or location, once you enter that room again or that space, spawn in some new enemies. Change up the pace and the tempo. But when I came here yesterday, it was like the horned guy and this, and now I come in again today. It's different. It keeps you engaged, keeps you on your toes, like, yo, I better make sure I got my tools ready, because if I go into this room, it might spawn a Minotaur that I haven't fought yet, or I fought in a different map, and just to keep the player engaged. You could, again, include in your accessibility option, just so you're not stressed out trying to get a hidden item to upgrade your weapon. Because sometimes just to go from point A to B, I'm like, I just want to pick up this tool, not to be jumped by a dog or jumped by a werewolf or jumped by a centaur. I get that, but still include that in your options. God of War Ragnarok or God of War 2018 and Ragnarok lets you know where even that too had its flaws when it comes to the mapping thing. You don't have a custom marker. That is the most dumbest and annoying aspect of any game that has a mapping system. You don't have a custom marker?
What?
How does that make sense?
Does not compute.
With this game, there's a fixed checkpoint, so you can't just spawn in anywhere. And when you spawn from the checkpoint, you then have to go up, down, through this place, through that place. Sometimes the doors are locked. You got to go back on yourself again to unlock a thing, and it's no. Sometimes for people like myself, it's too much. We should be focusing on your story, your gameplay. Navigation should be the most smoothest thing. Outside of your animation or your character mobility, navigation should be your smoothest because you're moving this character in this world. So if I paid full price for this game, I would have taken that bitch back instantly, and that's cool. It's a win-win for me. I would not wait for the 14-day thing and money back guarantee is gone because you missed your 14-day window. I would take that shit back. I did the same shit with Sekiro, and I did it with no, not Sekiro, sorry, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I played Origins before that. Excellent game.
You ain't lying.
Excellent game. So I thought, okay, now they've done their reboot. They took their time to take a little break, and now they did well with Origins. I thought Ubisoft would kill it with Odyssey. Picked that up, excited, happy. I was like, yo, about to delve into this baby.
That's what I'm talking about.
5 hours in, I said, what the hell is this shit? What is this? It doesn't feel right. Not everyone plays the game because it's out and because everyone else is playing it. Some people play games because it feels like, yo, there's something about this that feels right. I don't know what that is or how to explain it in English, but it feels right. For those of us who love Uncharted, for example, especially Uncharted 2, when I was looking for a game to play, a very good friend of mine, shout out to Jazz Father, he encouraged me and said, yo, if you like action games, if you like games like, if you like movies like Indiana Jones, you're going to love this game called Uncharted. I was like, what is it, an adventure game? Is it puzzles? He said, yeah, but it's action. I said, dude, I don't do too well with puzzles. If it's a short, simple puzzle, because I want to be here for the action and the story, not to be spending time. I wonder how to unlock this thing. It just removes me. It then becomes like I'm back in school and like I'm doing a test on exam, and that's a subconscious thing there, because I want to do a video separately about my schooling experience tied into the ADHD as well. So if you guys pay attention to me a lot, you notice these days a lot more I'm talking about my neurodivergentness and how it affects me today, knowing that I'm neurodivergent, compared to how I don't want to. No, that's going to be a separate video. I want to woosah and then stick to this. That's part of the ADHD, right? Where I just jump onto a different topic and forget what. Anyway,
I like this one.
So he said, dude, you look like someone who loves movies. I'm like, yeah, I love movies. And I love competent storytelling, competent writing. So when he said Indiana Jones, action, adventure, as long as the ratio of action is higher than the puzzle system. So the adventure aspect is cool. Just like Lara Croft, I enjoyed Lara Croft as well. But if you're saying the action is sweeter compared to the puzzle system, puzzle might have you a little, just a, I don't want to say stress. It'll keep you on your toes a little bit, but you'll figure it out. They even give you hints, and that's cool. And people who don't like the hints thing, again, option, control, turn off hints. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So my friend was like, dude, if you love action movies, you love adventure movies, this game is going to be awesome. I picked it up thinking, all right, cool. What's the worst that can happen? When I went home that same day,
Whoa! Shit!
Dude, when the cutscene played out and Drake is on the train, I couldn't tell the difference between the cutscene and the gameplay.
You serious?
That's what I've been asking for a very long time. But the cutscene is done clean enough with in-game graphics, not some special over-the-top graphics. You can't even tell which one is which. That game till this day is one of the best adventure action games I've played. One of the best. It holds a special spot in my heart. So games like that allow navigation to be smooth, playful, and fun. Zero stress. Maybe one or two minus, maybe. But majority is fun and exciting. You're looking forward to it. This game, yo, many times I was on YouTube and my brain was like, yo, so imagine if you bought this game on release day. Who are you watching on YouTube? Me and you have bought the same game today. We bought it at different time zones in different parts of the world in America and whatnot. How do I know you've played 7 levels ahead of me? For me to then go on YouTube and say, how do I get into the doctor's office to find aspirin? What are we doing, bro?
Don't ask questions.
What are we doing? I was even thinking, no wonder they put this game on PSN because maybe it didn't really sell well. Again, please hear me out. I'm not saying it's a rant so I can piss on the game. I'm ranting about the things that don't work in this game and other games that should be fixed by now. Not because it's 2026, but it should have been fixed before now. You're putting us in a world. Open world, closed world, semi-open world. Go and do side missions for yourself, explore. You have to make that world easily accessible so I can enjoy navigating your world. But when I have a mission that I must complete to allow me to progress to the next story and you are making it difficult for me to move from point A to B, you can kiss my ass on that shit.
That's right.
Time and attention. Very, very powerful currencies. And once you lose me on your navigation, you lose me and you make a puzzle too difficult. I think it's cool to call your buddy up who bought the game and he or she has played it a month before you. Nothing wrong with that because they can help you out. But I'm saying in real time, 500 of us buy this game. Despite our different time zones, there's no way someone would have beaten 10 levels before you. Maybe 5. No way they would have beaten 15 levels before you. Maybe 7. So when it comes to crucial points, it feels like for some of us, in real time, we'd have to say, you know what, I'll put this game down for a while. Not that it's stressing me out. It's stressing me out, and plus I can't get by or I can't get past this challenge. I don't know where to go. The game is not giving me a pointing this to go here because the story already, for me, feels a little convoluted. Some parts of the story is excellent, but some parts feel like it's a little over the top. Too complicated. Too complicated, and that bleeds into the navigation. One minute she's having a conversation with someone, next minute she's talking something in her head, mid conversation with someone. So they'll pause and then we can hear her inner monologue with something else. And then sometimes that something else she's talking to expresses itself outwardly like a little shimmer. So I thought to myself, okay, this shimmer thing you keep showing this being she's talking to in her head. Why isn't this shimmer thing used also as a compass? So if I'm lost, if I hit a button on my controller, the shimmer thing just, pops up and then points at the direction. Like some other games, which game did I play recently? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. I think it's God of War Ragnarok and 28. I think it's, God of War. Where if you push a button, the camera just locks I don't think it's God of War, but anyway, you hit the R3 or L3 and the camera just locks your head like a magnetic thing to say, this is where you're supposed to be going. And that makes life easy because some of us, we're tired, we're a little confused, we're even as excited as we are. We're human beings. We could be on the phone for a second talking to our girl, mom, whatever it is, we might be cooking. Mid-cooking we're coming to game, mid-cooking we're streaming. So just that little bit of like, oh, where am I supposed to go again? Bam, hit that one button, boom, there you go, say less. Or you hit the one button and the shimmer pops up and then the light just, it like a little arrow points here. That's something you should be allowed to turn on or off. So that way some jackass doesn't come along and say, what a noob, doesn't know how to follow directions or needs help following. Yes. That's like someone saying, no, what a noob, he's 6'2". So I don't know how this creator we call God has given birth to very low intelligence and incompetent creatures that come online and type shit. I'm telling you that the game I've paid money for has poor navigation system, and these incompetent, putrid creatures who tell you he wants his hand held. Yes, the story is beautiful, the world is beautiful. I would like to have a smoother experience of your story. You're not making me buy the game. You haven't forced me to buy the game. I want to partake in your story. But I still gotta ask as well, why have you chosen to make your game this particular way and you've left out a larger audience that could also enjoy your game? Where's the thinking in that? What was your idea?
That boy is good.
I've seen a lot of people who say, oh, this person needs their hand held or they don't like puzzles because they're retards or they're incompetent or stupid and they find puzzles challenging. Some people actually find puzzles stressful. Does that mean they shouldn't breathe air? They shouldn't live? They see your game, they love the concept, they love the visuals, they love the character, they love the genre. Why should I as a developer studio say you shouldn't buy my game because you don't like puzzles. If my game is puzzle orientated, then yeah, avoid Smother, because again, we're not the same, but this got elements of the game that you love in other games. And then all I have to do is create an option that says, okay, make the puzzle easier for people like yourself. Nothing wrong with that. It's a win-win for me, it's a win-win for you. You get to live a very, very great review, and you will also mention in your review, by the way, this studio or this developer team, they know how to cater for people who don't like stress. Whereas when it comes to the combat system, excellent. Navigation, excellent. Costume, excellent. The customization of your character, the progression, excellent. Like this one too, it limits certain aspects of the game when it comes to the progression. Like the gun, to upgrade the gun is tedious. I feel just like Ratchet Clank and Assassin's Creed, you should be able to at least upgrade your weapon based on usage. You want to have specific mods that is unique to your playstyle, it's another story entirely. But on a basic tip, rate of fire, reload, recharge, those things should be, the more you use, the more the gun or your weapon gets stronger. Now, of course, you want to be able to pick up points and then, you know, funnel certain points into a particular weapon or play style or what you call this thing? Loadouts that you love. I love this blade loadout rather than the daggers. I love the daggers loadout rather than the blade. I love the axe loadout. I love the hammer loadout. I love the gauntlet loadout. You should be able to do that on your own. All games should say, yo, these are the weapons, and every weapon has its perks. Not pros and cons per se, but perks. Now, aside from the perks, it'd be cool if you can transfer the perks of one weapon to another in New Game Plus mode, allowing the player to say, dude, I can do that in the second playthrough. It's a win-win. You get to stay longer on my game. Why aren't you doing this? Why are we not doing? It's a win-win.
Well, duh.
I open a restaurant and cook great food and great meals. You will always come back. You came for the first time on your own. You're going to bring your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your siblings, your friends, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your lover, your children, your neighbors. It's a win-win for everyone.
Is that how you feel?
I'm not talking about make a perfect game. Just make things easy, smooth, and accessible when it comes to your navigation. The mapping system is the worst I've ever seen in a game. The worst, absolute worst. It's something I also hate about God of War. You can have a manual place marker. It is the dumbest thing. I understand like checkpoints and campfires and whatnot. Those are cool. Like Ghost of Tsushima, perfect. I can put a custom waypointer to a particular place I want to go to myself without having to cross borders and have to jump all the way to this checkpoint. It becomes very tedious to navigate your world that I'm stuck in. So hopefully they fix that in the next game, because the visuals look cool. The new game even reminds me of Devil May Cry. So they've changed the play style for this sequel. The first one was up close and personal, or not up close and personal, was more like, well, it depends. It depends how your play style was. It's a gun. The weapon the main character wields in the first game of Control is a gun. The second one now is melee weapons. I think there's dual weapons, and you can have one singular or dual weapons, and in the trailer we'll do a reaction to. It's looking excellent.
Yes.
That's another thing with these guys. They're very, very good at making things look cool. When it comes to the final product now, however, only God knows. But judging by my experience with this one, fingers crossed. When it comes out, I pick it up and it sucks, I'm returning that bad boy real quick.
You ain't lying.
I had to actually turn on a cheat mode just to finish the game.
What?
There was a point I got towards the end of the game, I said, nah, this is too much. I'm getting my ass beat. I'm getting frustrated. I'm struggling to find the next checkpoint or the next mission point, because I'm constantly, I'm not kidding, constantly going back and forth on myself, trying to find where this door is, where that door is, how to do it. If you could hack like certain doors and do like little mini puzzles to hack a door that's locked, that'd have been cool. But the mapping system should let you know you've already been here before. Maybe another thing is you should be able to jump to, I don't know. That's why I said that setting the waypoint, a custom waypoint or way marker is much better. At least to let me know, oh, you've already been to this room already, so you don't have to go back inside again. Now to get to this waypoint, if you could do a mini teleport between two distances outside of the checkpoint, that would also be awesome. If you could fast travel between custom points that you created, that would make games or navigation in games like these a lot more better.
That's what I'm talking about.
I initially wanted to keep this video shorter, but boy, this thing I've been cooking inside, man. For the past 2 days, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna I'm gonna delete this game. DLC is cool, but again, the story, and some of the missions are too. Nah, it lets it down for me, man. Lets it down for me. Again, the story is cool. The way the character plays is one of the best games I've seen that allows you to just be like a demigod-ish. Projectiles with telekinesis. You got a gun. You can put up shields. You can do a melee force push. Then you can pull the enemies as well, levitate them, and use them as weapons against, or even the dead bodies as well against other. And the different enemy types really keep you on your toes, and I love that. But the navigation is poor, very, 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 very poor. I've been stuck on missions because of poor navigation and poor mapping system. That's when I had to go to YouTube. How do you find this person? Just to find someone before you even begin the mission to defeat the boss, and then it has you going back and forth. A game that has so many levels, and a lot of empty rooms. Sadly, a lot of empty rooms keep you stuck between location, and then have you scratching your eyeballs out. Not even your head anymore. Having you scratch your eyeballs out trying to figure out one puzzle. My guy, calm down.
Does not compute. Does not compute. Does not compute.
This game should be on the list of the most annoying games that has puzzles that delay the character or the player from moving forward. It's unnecessary. I get it when you're met with a boss that you have to fight a particular way and use a particular tool. Let's say this boss changes between 2 or 3 forms: fire form, ice form, and earth form. So you got to switch up your weapons as well. And you don't know when it's going to do it, but you always get this indication. They do a little flash and then earth mode. They do a little roar and then ice mode. They do a little laugh and then fire mode. So your brain says, oh, this is the pattern. Some of us who are very good at pattern recognition, that's cool. That at least trains you to switch your weapons on the fly. So that's a 50-50. As much as it is annoying sometimes, it's indirectly training you to know how to switch between your character's weapons. So when you find 3 different enemy types on the floor, minus the boss now, you're like, hold on a second. Oh, ice, earth, fire, say less. You can go into one bam bam combo, and then you can have a move that lifts up this one from the ground, disables their elemental ability. Then you use that same weapon. It just allows you to play and look epic at the same time because your brain is moving in lightning speed. So those challenges I can relate with. I'm down with. I dig them because it trains the player. Some players don't like that, and I also respect that. I'm not going to piss on anyone who has a different play style in the game that they've bought with their money. But when you are locking someone inside an unnecessarily challenging puzzle that you could look at and go, oh, it's at it. No, it's convoluted. Even by explaining it to someone, you'd be like, sounds simple. The visual, however, is very, very, very annoying and convoluted. Why you made a simple concept of a puzzle so annoying? People who want to play your game get stuck and frustrated. Not because they're incompetent or their brain synapses are firing very, very slow. And even if it's that, what's wrong with that? The difference between incompetent and your brain moving at a slower pace than normal, or than what we all call normal or average. As long as this person is not a douchebag or a mean or wicked being, he or she should be able to live and enjoy the things that we all do in this world. We all enjoy things differently. Some people like Coke, some people like Fanta, some people like natural juices, some people like carton juice. To each their own. But when you've made a game, accessibility is the most important thing. I want to make sure I stop the ranting or stop the... I don't even like that word anymore. I'm tired of using that word ranting. I'm expressing my dismay at such a beautiful game and saying, why have they done it like this when it could have been like this and much better? I know for sure I'd have taken this bitch back ASAP. I'd have given it at least 5 good days, not even a week, 5 good days roughly, to just say, let me just test it out and see if it's me, if it's my ADHD playing out or my neurodivergentness, kicking into full gear. But to have to always revert to YouTube, nah. On certain things, yes, how to beat a boss, for example. What tool did she use? What tool did they use? How did they? Because I'm using my combos just not landing, and even that too gets on my nerves. Because you've given us the free reign to say you can choose your weapons, you can choose your play style, your loadout. Okay, now I've done that. You then give me a boss where I'm trying to use all these moves that I paid points for, and I realize when I go on YouTube, I'm looking at you, Sekiro. When I go on YouTube, people are spamming one particular move to beat that particular boss. Then they'll say, oh, he's got no skill, he's just a noob. If you beat the boss with that one move, that's smart thinking. less hassle. I'm here to go from point A to B. This thing is in my way to get to B, so I will do a simple move. Sometimes that's almost like spite to the game itself. Yeah, I'm not going to even waste my time doing all the special moves since you keep dodging and blocking and parrying. I'll keep that one simple move, lock you in the corner, spam you. Once you're done, on to my next mission. Games like God of War, Ninja Gaiden, Devil May Cry, they say, nah, you're a badass in this one.
That's right.
So defeat the boss the way you want to. You should not be locked into using 5 moves out of your 5,000 move arsenal. You should be able to look like a G on screen. You should be able to feel competent enough to say, these are the moves I want to use on this guy, and I'll defeat them, or defeat this boss. Now, if the boss is locked to an elemental combo or elemental ability, and you're here using a weapon that has 0 element on it, that's a different story entirely. And that might be a personal challenge to you, because the health bar will be going down a little lower than usual. Cool. But if majority of the people I come across are all locked into elementals, and I can't use the other combos I've bought to look cool and feel this power you've given me via this character, it sucks. So again, Control, premise is excellent. The execution, however, nada. No sorry bab. No sorry bab. And I didn't even play the first game, until I watched the trailer of the second one. The trailer already, I was like, oh, if this is the sequel to this game, and if it looks this good in the sequel, then I wonder how good the first one plays. So that's why I went to PSN and picked it up for free. But there's no way I would have paid money for this game. Now that I know what I know, there is no way. No way. No, sorry, Bob.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
Woo! Woo, sir. Anyways, peeps, that's me done. I'm already 40 minutes into my recording, so I might as well wait to the next day to record the trailer reaction to Control sequel. Because boy, I needed to get that off my chest. I needed to get that off my chest. So thank you for listening. Let me know in the comment section which one of you has played the Control game itself, which one of you are looking forward to the sequel, and also what other games have you played where the mapping system and navigation system really got on your nerves, that you couldn't play it anymore, you took it back. Let a brother know in the comment section. I've of course been your one and only multi-potentialite, neurodivergent host,
the Cosmic Jedi, signing out. Thank you for watching.